Okay, Alexis, do I have your permission to record this interaction and share the video with you and your professor?
Yes, you do.
Thank you so much. Um, if you'd like a copy of our privacy notice at any point, you can download that from our website, mursion.com/privacy notice. So just for your
Okay.
information. But yeah,
Okay.
let's talk about the logistics of the session.
Okay.
Like I said before, you're going to have around 15 minutes in the simulator to run the scenario.
Okay.
At the end of the simulation, I will return and I can guide you through a self-reflection of your experience.
Okay.
And if at any point in the simulation you have a question or feel overwhelmed or that you can't continue, that's totally fine. Just say the words pause simulation. I'll return and I can address any concerns that you may have at that point. Um,
Okay.
just so in case you're wondering about the abilities of the students, they can all write, they can raise their hands, they can participate in a parent share, stuff like that. However, if you ask them to do something outside the limitations of the program, like to give a choral response or for everyone to give a thumbs up, one of the avatars will say something like, the principal says that we can't do that, and that will be your cue to move on, because that's just not something the
Okay.
program can do.
Okay,
Um,
perfect.
Right. And if there's any technical issues at all, you can just ask for me, Michael, and I'll help you address it. Um,
Okay.
I have a few questions for you specifically about this scenario. You already said that you are doing the three branches of government.
Yes.
That's perfectly good. And what would you like your intensity level set to today? We have low and medium.
Well, I guess low since it's my first time. I don't know what the difference is between the low and medium.
Yeah, for sure. Low is just like sort of more of like a building confidence sort of difficulty level where it's like, hey, just get in there, try it, see what it's like being in a classroom sort of setting. Medium
Okay.
is there's just a bit more, maybe a bit more distractions. The students have a bit more energy and you might have to correct them a bit more.
Oh, okay. I guess we can do two. That's how my classroom is now.
So you would like a medium?
Um, you know what? Let me not. I'll go for low.
Okay, perfectly fine. Excellent. Okay, that is no problem.
Okay.
So we'll have you at low. And yeah, we're gonna get started in just a moment. Do you have any final questions at all?
No, I'm ready.
All right, well then let's do it. In a moment, you're gonna see the students appear on the screen when you have your simulation has begun. Good luck, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome to class. Today's lesson, we're going to be talking about the three branches of government. Now, we know that the House of Representatives play a very important role in the United States government. We
Excuse
know
me,
that,
are you in your bedroom right now? I
yes,
see
I
a bed
am.
behind you. Oh, it looks
Yes,
comfy.
thank
I
you
wish
so much.
I wish I was in my bedroom right now. I like my
Thank
bedroom
you.
a lot. I also have lots of pillows and comfy stuff and stuffed animals
Okay,
and stuff
Mina, thank
like
you.
that.
If anything, we'll talk about it at the end. Let me just get through my lesson, and then if you have any questions at the end, I'll be more than happy to assist you on that, okay?
Yes.
So the House of Representatives plays a very important role in the United States government. We know that the job was given by the founding fathers of the United States. So during the Philadelphia Convention, it was decided that United States government needed to have three branches. How many branches did we need again? Anybody?
Three? That's what you said, right?
Yes, three branches. So we have three branches.
Isn't it the president and the mayor
Well, the
and the
president is
judge?
part of it. You're good. Good job, Jayla. So you pretty much get a gist of it. So I'm going to elaborate a little bit more. So there's three branches that they balance each other out so that they don't become too powerful. The president isn't one of them. So we want that all Americans, we want them to be treated equal and we want them to be fair, which is why we have the representation through those three branches. Okay. So the first one is legislative. The legislative is the branch that makes the laws of the United States. They control the money and they have the power to declare war. That's at the top. So that is called legislative. So they make what? Do you guys remember? They make the
War. They make
they
war.
They do have the power to declare war.
Why would people have war when you could just not have war and everyone would be okay and no one dies?
Of course, but sometimes it's not necessarily war. We just want people to have a voice and we want them to know what's fair and what's not, which is why we go through these branches and we have votes and whatnot. And then from there, we come up with something together. We're united as one. That's why we're the United States. But sometimes, just like how when you're, for example, when you're home and mom and dad tell you to do something and you don't want to do it and you want to just blow up all the time, it's kind of like that. We have people that they agree and we have people that don't agree. So they disagree a lot. But we try as much as possible to not have wars. That's why we make these laws for people to follow so that we don't have to do those things. Then the second branch of the government is the executive. So this is where, Jayla, you were talking about it, the president. This is where the president and the vice president, they spend their money as allowed by the Congress. So they can also declare.
Is that where the White House is?
Where? Tell me again.
And what you said. Is this
the president?
Yeah.
Yes. So the president.
This is the president.
Yes, the president lives where?
In the White House.
Yes, you're correct, Carlos. Good job. So that's pretty much the place where everything happens, and that's where the president is and the vice president. So they spend money, they take the time to spend the money as allowed by the Congress. So it's going through the Congress. They can also declare states of emergency, kind of like what we've been going through with COVID. That was a state of emergency. So we had to be sure. That's kind of why I'm in my bedroom right now, because we have to be very safe. So a lot of them, they'd like to make the rules for things like that, and we have to follow them. And the last branch of the government is judicial. So yes, Mina.
So everyone votes for the president, right?
So yes, if you're registered to vote. So if you have to be 18 or older to vote. And then from there, you have to sign a paper, which you have to register to vote. Once you have all that registration, you also have to be a U.S. citizen. So you have to be living in the United States. And
Did
you have
you
to be. No, I did not vote.
Oh, my dad voted.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, they both voted. They said it's important.
Yes, it is important.
Well, why didn't you vote?
I did vote, but I don't like to talk about that because that's confidential. A lot of voting, when it comes to voting, we don't like to talk about it because everybody has their own opinion and we don't like to talk about that. So as long as people vote, because being a U.S. citizen is being given the right to vote. So we want to vote to have a representation of the United States. But when it comes down to voting and things like that, those are things that we really can't talk about because that's private. When you go to vote, you're not allowed to say your vote.
Is it illegal? Will you get in trouble and go to jail?
No, it's not something like that, but it's very confidential. Those are things that we just don't like to say out loud. Because remember how I told you guys about legislative, how they like to declare war? Sometimes when you hear people's opinion, they don't like it at all. And then they want to declare their own little war there. So sometimes those are things that we just keep to ourselves and we only talk to people about it that we're very close to on that.
Well, if I voted, I would tell people because it's important and people should know.
Of course, you should tell people that you voted, but sometimes telling people what you vote, who you vote for, those are things you should be confident for. Keep in private. Okay, are we ready for the last thing? So remember, do you guys remember how many branches of government there were?
3.
There are 3. So the one on top, the one that makes all the laws, controls the money, and the power to declare war starts with an L. Does anybody remember what it was called?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? So it's legislative.
Legislative?
Legislative, yes.
Oh, that's a weird word.
Yeah, it is.
Legislative.
Yes, there you go. Good job, Mina. Then the second one starts with an E. That's where the president and vice president are.
Yes. Isn't that a executive?
Yes, that's awesome, Mina. It was executive. Very good. And then our last one that we haven't really spoken about is called judicial. So this is where the Supreme Court is. Can everybody say judicial?
Judicial?
Judicial. Very good. Awesome.
These are weird words.
It is, but it's always fun to learn new words, right? So our last one is judicial, and basically the judicial branch is the one where they pretty much have all the laws, and they make arrangement for prisoners. So when people do bad things and they have to go to jail, that's the Supreme Court. They're the one in charge of what those people are going to be doing, their sentence, how long they're going to be in jail for, and whatnot.
So the judges decide what is it?
So the judicial branch interprets the laws, and then they judge when a law is not good or is the right thing to do, and they make arrangement for the people, for the prisoners. So all of the people that do bad, though, they are in charge of how long their sentence is going to be in jail.
Wow. How much time do you have to go to jail typically?
So it basically, it goes on to how bad you did something wrong. So depending on whether you did your time, well, basically what you did, that's going to determine whether or not how many years you're going to get in jail. Because some things can be very small and minor that you did, but then there could be things that are that are illegal and that shouldn't have been done, and then that's how you get a longer sentence.
What happens if you steal? What if you steal? How long do you go to jail?
Well, it depends where you are. So it all
what if I'm in like a Walmart?
If you're in a Walmart, yes, you will.
How long do I go to jail if I steal?
That depends on how much you stole. They usually look at how much.
I don't know. Like a TV.
Like a TV, probably you would go to jail. Those are things that we shouldn't do at all. So if we do things like that, like we're caught stealing or vandalizing places, those are all consequences that they're going to have to go through so that we can see what your penalty is going to be. Basically, if you get a big sentence or a short sentence.
Yes, I don't think that people should steal or break the law at all, because it's against the law, and it hurts people, and you should follow the rules so that no one gets hurt.
Good job. You should always be able to follow the rules, because that's the whole point of it. So that's why we have our government, the branches of the government, so that we can keep everybody together, so that everybody can follow the directions. That's why we have the laws in place. They're kind of like rules, just like in a school.
Is it true we were cavemen before the government?
I'm sorry?
Is it true that we were cavemen before the government, and the government came and made the cavemen be people?
I would totally talk about that when we get to that lesson, but don't worry, Jayla. Once I get to that lesson, that'll be the first question that I'll ask you guys, or the first thing that I'll tell you guys, okay?
Okay.
Perfect. Can we stop the simulator?
Hello and welcome back, Alexis. What's going on?
Okay, so I don't know exactly. Will it tell me exactly when I need to stop, or?
Yeah. If you're finished, this is totally fine. We can just do the debrief right now. You certainly don't have to go longer than than you have. If you're done with your lesson, you're done with your lesson.
I just don't know how long it was.
Right. No, it was about 10 minutes, which is perfect.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for sure. And you got through all the branches of the government, and we can,
yes.
If you're finished, we can do the reflection now. Would you like to?
Yes, of course.
All right, right, great. Well, welcome back. Thank you for doing that simulation. Let's reflect a little bit on it. I guess first and foremost, just how are you feeling after that?
I feel great.
Awesome. Yeah. How do you think the students are feeling?
I think they were good. I know a lot of them, they were a little off task, which is what I work with now. And I do think that they're very curious, which is great because I love when kids have questions. So it knows I know that they're keeping up with me and they're trying to know more about it, which is great. I'm not used to the upper grades, so I guess that was more of the challenge since I'm a first grade teacher. So their questions aren't as, they're very broad. They're not as
Right.
extrinsic as yours are. But I mean, I think it went okay.
Awesome. Well, in relation to the desired outcome, which was to, you know, engage all the students on the topic and elicit their students' thinking in your area of content. I guess in that,
Okay.
what do you think you did well in that context?
I think I described it well enough. I think I described it well, but then that's also my high and my low, only because since I'm a first grade teacher, I kind of like lower things down for them to understand. So I
Right.
think that was my bad thing. I made it too babyish and I should have been, higher level thinking skills, and I should have applied it more to the real world just so that they can
Right.
understand it better. But I think I did try to connect it to their everyday life so that they could understand it a little bit better, I think.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, I mean, I think you explained the branches of government well. I liked it. And
Mhm.
yeah, I thought the strategies that you used, got the point across for sure. Um, if you had a chance to do this again, what do you think you could improve upon? You've mentioned, make it less babyish, ground it in some
Yeah.
real world stuff.
Mhm.
What else?
Well, I would have, me as a teacher, I would have provided like a video, stuff like, but I know I probably can't do that here.
Right.
But I guess maybe I should have picked because with all these with these lessons, they're kind of hard because I've never taught upper grades. So I think probably learning a little bit more about it so that I was able to like give them more examples about it. But then I also didn't want to give too much also because I feel like with government, with everything that's going on now, the kids hear everything. So I'm sure they'll like pick at little things like they did with the
Right.
voting and all that. And that one kind of had me like, I was like, man, what do I say? So they did keep me on my toes a lot. So I think if I prepared a little bit more on more examples, I think that would have been better for me.
Okay. Okay. And I guess lastly, Alexa, just what's one thing that you're going to take away from this whole experience that you can use next time if you face a similar situation in real life?
I think what I would need to do is become a little bit better at trying to diffuse whatever, like, try to bring them back to what we're talking about. I kind of get stuck on when they talk about something that doesn't apply to what's being spoken about at the moment. And I try hard to like de-escalate from that or trying to bring them back. But I think I need to look up a little bit more on how to, not shut them down completely, but tell them, well, that's kind of not what we're talking about. Let's come back here and then we'll talk about that another time. I think that's what I need help on.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Alexa, for giving some thoughtful reflection here and for just participating today. We really appreciate it. This does conclude the simulation. You decided to record today's session, which is great. You're going to
Yeah.
receive an email once this video is processed, usually
Okay.
within about 24 hours, and that should
Okay.
give you more instructions on how to retrieve the recording from the portal. So be
Okay.
on the lookout for that. Thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure meeting you and chatting with you. And yeah, you have a good rest of your day.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Bye bye. You too.